Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. See what else coming at you. And it's time to talk about week 4. Man, we are already heading into week 4. SWAC season is really here now, man. We have 5 conference games on the schedule, only 1 non-conference game on the schedule, even have a Thursday night game. So we got SWAC football coming at you on Thursday and Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and jump into these previews. Hit the socials. Got my weekly schedule of shows up on the Facebook at SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Also, don't forget to like the video, share it, comment, and subscribe. And also hit that join button to become a member of the channel if you would so please. Like I said, we're not going to waste any time, man. We're going to go ahead and jump into this. Coming off of a crazy week 3. Kind of, this season has kind of been up and down when you look at it. Non-conference play hasn't gone the way a lot of us thought it would. But now we're in the conference play, so things are going to start to turn around for some teams. And some teams are going to continue to slide, but we're going to find out, what's what. And we're going to start off with our Thursday night game, 6:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPNU. Pine Bluff Golden Lions take on Alabama A&M Bulldogs. These two teams are coming in off of different results. Pine Bluff beat Miles on Saturday, 21-20, and then Alabama A&M dropped a 20-10 game to Southern on Saturday. So both teams coming in. Bulldogs 0-1 in conference. Pine Bluff 0-0. So it's their first conference game is Alabama A&M's second conference game. They need to win this game to keep pace. You have a FAMU team who's sitting at 1-0 right now in the conference. So you want to try not to fall too far behind those guys. If you're Pine Bluff, it's important to get your conference schedule off to a good start. You played pretty well in your games. You haven't really scored a lot of points, but you played fairly well and found yourself in some good positions. Now is the time to continue to grow. And, if you could pick up a big win on the road in conference play, that would definitely go a long way in helping this program develop. Right now, this team is scoring 14 points a game, giving up 26. They've done their work on the ground, really. This team is honestly totally balanced yardage-wise. 159.3 on the ground, 159 through the air. They have 3 touchdowns and 1 interception pass, and they run the ball for 3 touchdowns. The defense is giving up 193 yards per game on the ground and 238 through the air. They've given up 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and given up 6 touchdowns on the ground. A lot of that is from the Tulsa game that they lost 42-7. Other than that, they played really, really well, especially defensively. They have to improve their third down conversions. As a team, they're converting 26% on third down and giving up 40% on third down as a defense. Their opponents have fumbled the ball 10 times. Pine Bluff's been able to recover 4. Fumbles are so weird. The ball can bounce different ways. Sometimes it look like you might have it. It might squirt away from you. So even though you're getting those fumbles, you're not getting the recoveries. Those things can change on a dime. The defense has registered 9 sacks. They have given up 10. This team has not been, I've been pretty, it's early and, you don't want the team is 1-2, but I've been impressed with the way this team's looked so far. Jonas Davis seems to be a guy who may be one of the better backs in the league. He didn't have a great game on Saturday. Actually, BJ Curry had a good game for them. They're the two top rushers on this team. Curry has 107 yards in a touchdown. Davis 263 in a touchdown. Davis had a big game against Tennessee State. I would expect him to get some carries and maybe do some things against the Bulldogs. They still right now. Jalen Macon is the leading passer. He's 30 of 37 for 304 yards. Has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mekhi Higgins hasn't played in the last couple of games. Got kind of banged up against Tulsa. We'll see how he goes. The receiving core has their ups and downs. They dropped a lot of passes against Tulsa. Kenji Lewis is the guy you want to look out for. He has 10 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown. This team, they're still trying to find their way. Rico Dozier, all-SWAC linebacker, leads the team with 31 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. Khalil Arnold leads the team with 5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. So he's the key guy in the pass rush. Defensively, Kyrie Williams and Laprel Boyd each have an interception. Special teams, they're averaging 38.6 yards per punt. So pretty decent. Right now they haven't made a field goal yet. So, if it comes to that, you have to wonder. Their only 2 attempts have been from 39 yards in. So we don't really know the range on their kicks. And one of those kicks was blocked against Tennessee State. The return game, not much really to speak of right now. So really, we'll find out a lot more about the Golden Lions in this game because this is their first conference game, as I said before. They do have an FCS game against Tennessee State to kind of draw from. That they played okay in that game, but not great. The Bulldogs are a team who put up 51 points on Lane the week before last and scored 10 points on Saturday and could not run the ball on Saturday, which is odd for this team with the backs that they have. Right now, they're averaging 118 yards on the ground. The passing game is at 169 yards per game. They have 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. They've turned the ball over 4 times in Saturday's game, and they've turned the ball over 7 times in total. So in 2 games, they turned the ball 3 times. In 1 game, they turned the ball over 4 times. You're not going to win a lot of games turning the ball over that many times. This team is a really good team on third down, and even in the game Saturday, they converted a lot of third downs. They're at 46% as an offense on third down and 50% on fourth down. So they're good at staying on the field as an offense. Defensively, they are really not doing that great on third downs, giving up 42%. This defense has registered 7 sacks on the season. 6 sacks. The offensive line has given up 7. Defensively, they played, they did a really good job Saturday stuffing the run. They did give up over 200 yards through the air, and that's basically the way their team has been playing. 145 yards allowed on the ground, 230 through the air. They do have 5 interceptions. They weren't able to get one on Saturday, but they were able to recover a fumble, which was the only fumble recovery they have on the season. So they forced 6 turnovers and they turned the ball over 7 times. So right now they're -1, losing the turnover battle. You can't do that. You can't do that in games. You have to win the turnover battle and find yourself a way to make some things happen. Ryan Morrow right now leads the team with 223 yards on the ground. Donovan Eaglin didn't have a good game last week. Didn't play against Lane and didn't really do too much against Vandy. So I would expect for them to feed him a lot in this game. I mean, Morrow's a big guy. He's a big back that can, break tackles and get yardage too. So you want to kind of get both of those guys going, but I would definitely look to get Eaglin going in this game. Quarterback situation, like I said, it's a short week, so I'm expecting Quincy Casey to start this game. If Langford's ready, then they'll probably start him. But if he was a scratch Saturday, he may not be ready on a short week. That's just a guess. But Casey, he's a solid passer. He doesn't have the mobility that Langford has, so the offense kind of loses a little bit there, but it gains a little bit in the passing game. they have a lot of guys who can make some plays in the at receiver. Cameron Young has 164 yards and a touchdown to lead the team. Terrell Gardner has 164 yards to lead the team and 1 touchdown. Cameron Young has 16 catches and 2 touchdowns and 105 yards. Those are the guys that they really like to go to. Defensively, Marvin Smith leads the team with 21 tackles. Jordan Mitchell leads the team with 3 tackles for loss. Xavier Billingsley also has 3 tackles for loss. Mitchell has 3 sacks. And Dawson and Pate each have 2 interceptions. Victor Barbosa is a pretty solid field goal kicker. Right now, he's 3 of 3 on the season with a long of 29. They haven't really kicked anything longer than that. They kick a lot of short field goals, but he's solid. The punt game, Austin McCready averages 38.1 yards per punt on the season. Terrell Gardner is a good guy in the return game on punts. He does have a punt return touchdown. Right now, he's averaging 24 yards per punt return, and he's also averaging 23. He's averaging 23 yards per punt return and 24.2 on kickoff. So that can be a big difference in this game. Being able to get solid yardage on returns. A game like this probably will come down to a few of those kind of plays where you find yourself needing to get that extra yardage on a return or even on a kickoff, being able to stop your opponent, pushing them back further, and giving your offense opportunity to kind of make some things happen. So I think coming into this game, when you look at it before the season, this was one of those games where you kind of basically say A&M wins this game because Pine Bluff, we don't know what they have, which we still figuring out what this team has, but we don't, we had no clue what they had. You mark it down as a win and you keep going. Looking at this game now is a little bit different. Pine Bluff's shown a few things. A&M, they need to put Saturday behind them. Saturday was a tough loss. They need to put that game behind them. And I think they do. Honestly, I think having a short week may be good. It's only a couple of days, but, having that short week may be good because it forces you to get back into focus and get locked in again. And I think the Bulldogs win this game primarily because they're at home. I think they win this game by a score of 21-17. Pine Bluff's going to be a tough out this season, so I don't expect to see them get blown out a lot in conference play. And we'll see what the Lions do. But Bulldogs by a score of 21-17. Moving on to the first Saturday game of the day. We have the Circle City Classic in Indianapolis, Indiana, Lucas Oil Stadium. North Carolina Central Eagles against the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. This is really one of those games, man, that there's not a lot to say. This game, Valley just has to. They have to show up. You're 0-2. You have 2 D2 losses. You lost the game against Central State. You should have won. You got blown out the water by Delta State. You gave up. Basically, you gave up 27 unanswered points, and lost this game. So you find yourself in a tough spot, man. Again, this is one of before the seasons where, a lot of people were saying Valley could win 5-6 games. And, you never know. Team can turn around, but, they have to find an identity. Right now, they're not doing much offensively. They can't run the ball 98 yards per game, averaging 2.5 yards per carry. They're throwing for 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They're only averaging 3.1 yards per play in total offense, 226 yards of total offense. They have 4 touchdowns. Defensively, they've given it up any way that you want. They're allowing 146 yards on the ground, 318 through the air. They've been getting beat in the air big time. And when you play against a team with a really good quarterback, that's a recipe for disaster. Valley just, they have to find a way to start to right the ship. They're only converting 21% on third down. They're giving up 39% conversion. They have 5 sacks as a defense. They've allowed 7, so 7 sacks in 2 games. That's like 3.5 a game. It's not great, but it's not detrimental either. That's one of the least of their problems right now. But they have to find some guys to make some things happen. Jared Wilson right now is the leader rusher. He has 76 yards on the season and 1 touchdown. Quarterback is where a lot of this stuff comes in. I mean, they've played 3 different guys. Nobody's really been able to stand out. Who can take that step forward for them is gonna be a big thing. Either Maldonado, Williams, or Jones. Somebody has to take the reins. Carrick Ross right now leads the team with 8 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, their leading tackle is Jaron Fox. He had a pretty big game against Delta State, but not a lot to take from that. This team is led in tackles for loss by Khalib Alexander with 3.5. He also leads the team with 1 sack, along with Jones, Banks, and Clark. They each have 1 sack apiece. And the interception goes to Matthew Miles. Special teams, they haven't attempted a field goal yet. They're averaging 37 yards per punt. The return game right now, I still like Kobe Bates as a return guy. He hasn't got loose yet, but that's a guy I think can make some things happen. He did last season, so you kind of expect at some point for him to get loose again, but it hasn't happened yet. We'll continue to see where this team, how they go. You're facing a North Carolina Central team that can run and throw. Their UCLA game notwithstanding, they're averaging 160 yards per game on the ground. Right now, only 182 yards through the air. They have 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Numbers not that great early, but this is a team who, can hurt you on the ground. They can hurt you through the air. They're very good on defense, and they tend to find ways to make things happen on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they're giving up 227 on the ground. A lot of that is because of the last game. 150 through the air. They have 3 touchdowns allowed, 1 interception. They're converting 46% on third down, giving up 32%. Defense has 6 sacks. They've allowed 3. They haven't really turned the ball over a lot. 3 turnovers in 3 games. They've only forced 2 turnovers on the season, so not great. This is early season, kind of balancing out. But this game really, to me, is up to North Carolina Central. How they approach this game, how they play in this game, is gonna go a long way in determining what happens in this game, because Valley has a lot of work to do. What they did in the preseason, with the way that program was buzzing, and the recruiting and all of that, it's still good, and I still like that. I still like the energy that they had over the summer. But it's fall now. Saturday will be first day of fall. It's fall now. It's football season. It's time for those things to translate into the season, to keep that momentum. Because if you continue to drop games, that momentum is going to fall off, and I don't want that for Valley. But this game is going to be a rough one, especially coming out of the Delta State game. I think Valley drops this game 42-7. I just don't really see it right now from this team. They need some positivity. And that Central State game should have been that, but it wasn't. And, it doesn't get any easier after this. So we'll see with the Delta Devils. Moving on to our next game, which is Grambling and Texas Southern, taking place in the hole. That's a 2 p.m. kick. HBCU Go is the place to catch that game. To start off with Texas Southern, everything I say about their offense has to do with Andrew Body. This is a game that you can look at a couple ways. WAB, WOAB, with Andrew Body, without Andrew Body. And I'm gonna try to look at it both ways, but I only got so much time. So if Andrew Body plays, this offense should be better. He's a big threat in the run game. He's obviously the top quarterback on the team. He can make the plays through the air. Didn't have a great game percentage-wise against Prairie and also had 3 interceptions, but he threw the ball for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns, those 3 interceptions as well, but was able to, do some great things through the air. The backup in 2 games has thrown for 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Again, those were 2 FBS games, so maybe it would be different against, like competition, but there's no real way to look at it because the offense has just not been where it needs to be. And having guys like Ladarius Owens and Corey Howard running the ball, this offense should still be moving the ball better than it is right now. They're averaging 140 yards on the ground, 162 through the air. They have 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 303 total offense. They're converting 29% on third downs. Again, that's heavily weighted by these last 2 games. They have 4 fumbles. They've only registered 3 sacks. The problem with this team right now, and even before your FBS games, this team gave up 37 points on defense. Now, you can say the same thing about Prairie, and I will when I talk about them, but they have yet to stop anybody in this game, in this season. They're giving up 194 yards on the ground. They've already allowed 11 rushing touchdowns. They've given up 302 yards through the air. They've already given up 11 passing touchdowns. Again, heavily weighted for the 2 FBS games. Trying to throw a little bail out, but the numbers are just not good. 96 yards of offense, 6.5 yards per play allowed. The opponents are converting 56% on third downs. It's just not pretty, and the talent is there. The talent is there. They have a lot of talented guys on both sides of the ball. Jacob Williams is one of the top linebackers in the conference. He has 30 tackles, 55 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. The talent is there, but they have to start this week putting it together. Whether Andrew Body plays or doesn't play, they have to find a way to win this game because if they don't, they're 0-2 in conference, 0-2 in the division. On top of that, and you're looking at a big hole to climb out of. Coach McKinney said Andrew Body's a game time decision. I think if he's close enough to play, he will play. That's my guess. Coming off those 2 weeks that he didn't play, how he plays is going to go a long way. But I'd rather have him on the field than not have him. But I had to pick this game kind of in the middle. Grambling is a team who's been playing really good offensively, even against LSU. I thought they did some really good things. Chance Williams had a good game on the ground against LSU. Miles Crawley's been a really solid quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. Defensively, they're still not there yet. They've been giving up a lot of yardage in all 3 of their games. Florida Memorial was able to run the ball on them. Hampton ran the ball for over 200 yards on them. LSU ran the ball on them. They've given up 271 yards on the ground this season. And 229 through the air. This game is honestly probably going to come down to who can stop who, because both defenses have not looked good. And Grambling's defense does have talent. I mean, you have the preseason defensive player of the year in Sundiata Anderson. Hasn't really had a good season so far. 13 tackles, a half a tackle for loss, and half a sack. Lewis Matthews leads the team with 24 tackles. Had 11 tackles and a pick 6 on Saturday. The talent, they have guys on defense who can play. The running game is solid with Williams and Chalk and Elder. Like I said, Miles Crawley's passing the ball really well. Right now, he has 670 yards and 6 touchdowns, only 1 interception, completing 58% of his passes. And they've had a lot of different guys make plays at receiver. Lyndon Rash is still their guy. Tylon Williams was the newcomer of the week. He had 4 catches for 113 yards, and a touchdown. I like Grambling in this game a lot either way, but I feel like if Andrew Body plays, I feel like TSU has a better chance of winning this game. If he doesn't play, I think Grambling has a better chance of winning this game. I'm gonna go with my last statement. I'm not sure. I don't have enough. At least as I sit here making this video, I don't have enough confidence to say that Andrew Body's playing. I feel like he may, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going Grambling winning this game 28-13. If he plays and he's efficient and effective, then Texas Southern has a better chance in this game. But right now, I do like Grambling winning this game because I think their offense has been playing really, really well, even though they haven't had the success on the scoreboard to really show it. But I think they're making those strides, and that takes us to our next game, and that would be Alabama State taking the trip to Tallahassee to take on the Rattlers of Florida A&M. That's a 5 p.m. kick, Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central on ESPN Plus. Again, this is another game that's pretty simple. This game is simple to describe. Alabama State offense has not been there. They're averaging 14 points a game. Defense, well, they didn't update their stats. Defense is really good. They've been they've been making a lot of plays on defense. Their offense has to carry the weight in this game. They have to carry their slack. Whether it's Stewart at quarterback or Davis at quarterback, they need to find other guys besides Keyshawn Johnson to make things happen. He's the best receiver on the team. He's one of the best receivers in the conference, but at some point you're going to need other people to step up. The quarterback play has to be better. They have to be able to run the ball, which, to say you have a mobile quarterback, a guy who can be electric with his legs, and a back like Juwan Howell, who a lot of people figured would be the bell cow for this offense, they haven't really been able to run the ball effectively. They put a lot of pressure on their defense, and you're facing a FAMU offense that has had their ups and downs, but when they're up, they are up. That's that third quarter against West Florida. They were able to blow them out the water in the third quarter with 3 touchdowns. Jeremy Musa has been passing the ball pretty well. He has had his inconsistent moments, but they're passing for 276 yards a game, 6 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. The run game for FAMU, even though it wasn't that great last week, they have a 3-headed monster to run the ball. You're looking at Jennings, who had a 73-yard touchdown last week. Yant, Dean, Sheree can run the ball. They have a lot of guys that can carry the load, and they had a lot of backs that could run the ball last season, but they didn't really focus on the run game last year. I think they're running the ball more this season than they did last year. They've ran the ball almost 100 times this season, and they've ran about 98 times and thrown in 95. So they are balanced as hell this season. And if they stay like that and their run game continues to, be consistent, they're averaging 4 yards a carry, they're gonna be fine offensively because their defense, their dark cloud defense, is one of the top defenses in the conference. They're giving up 292 yards per game, 4.2 yards per play, only giving up 92 yards on the ground, 2.7 yards per carry, 199 through the air, 5 touchdowns with the 1 interception. Defensively, they registered 13 sacks as a defense and 6 allowed. So they're doing a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterback, 29% third down conversion rate as a defense, 42% as an offense. This is probably right now the most solid team in the conference. Like I said, you have guys like Shareed and Riley, Nicholas Dixon, Kamari Young. They have weapons all over the field on offense. And defensively, Anthony Dunn Jr. has been a really, really good player this season for the Rattlers, one of the top guys in the conference on that D-line, and he's only a sophomore. He has 7 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. Both of those numbers lead the team. Isaiah Major leads the team with 21 tackles. Johnny Chaney right there with 17. Then you have a guy like Gentle Hunt in the middle who really is disruptive. This team they cause a lot of problems for teams. You know what I mean? They have 33 tackles for loss as a defense. They cause a lot of issues. And when you're a team like Bama State who struggles offensively at home, and you played 2 games at home, and your offense hasn't been able to get anything done at home, going on the road in a place like Bragg is going to be tough. Especially, with this team playing pretty well. I think FAMU realizes what's in front of them, and I think they realize that they have to take care of business. They need to win. They need to win out, honestly, because you don't want to give anybody any opportunity to catch you. And I like the Rattlers in this game by a score of 31-9. I just don't have any confidence in Bama State's offense. This is a game where that defense is going to play tough, probably for 3.5 quarters. I think the defense wears down in the 4th, and that's when FAMU kind of puts the points on the board and picks up the win there. Our next game is Jackson State taking on Bethune-Cookman in a home opener for the Tigers. Finally coming home, 4 weeks on the road, finally coming home. This is one of those games. It's not a trap game because I don't feel like Bethune-Cookman is that good, but this team's been on the road for 4 weeks. Finally coming home, got an off week next week. Sometimes you just really, you really want to get through that game and get that off week to kind of get yourself back on track. That may lead to some early sloppiness, but I think JSU is going to be fine in this game. Bethune-Cookman, 2 FBS games and a D2 game. Not a lot to know what to take from this team right now. They did not move the ball at all against Memphis. Moved the ball somewhat against Miami. Had a pretty good passing game against Savannah State. So this team is all over the place. You just don't really know what they are. 2 defensive touchdowns against Memphis. So they showed that they can force some turnovers and capitalize on them. They have forced 5 turnovers on the season. They've turned the ball over 4 times. Right now, their running game is not there. 70 yards a game, 2.5 yards per carry. Defense giving up 176 on the ground, 5 yards per carry, 295 through the air for the opponents, 144 through the air for the Wildcats. They're converting 31%. The defense has been pretty solid, 36% on third down. They've given up 10 sacks and only have 4. So not a lot to really take from this team right now. Basil is the leading rusher right now with 100 yards even and 2 touchdowns. Quarterback play should be interesting. I think I heard they had a couple guys get injured in the Miami game, so we'll see who plays there. Ellington right now is the leading receiver with 10 catches for 95 yards. Defensively, Darius Thomas leads the team with 24 tackles. He also leads the team with 3 tackles for loss and 1 sack. Amari Jones has a pick 6 on the season. Tyrone Franklin has an interception. This game, a lot of this game is going to hinge on, how Bethune-Cookman plays. I mean, right now they haven't really played a great game yet. Playing 2 FBS games and a D2 game, we just don't know what his team is. Jackson State's been all over the map. 3 FCS games, an FBS game. They've had games where they look really good against South Carolina State. They didn't look that good against FAMU. They looked like pretty decent to good against Southern, especially the run game. Then they just did not look good defensively, all special teams wise against Texas State, and they gave up a ton of points. So if this team can run the football, which they are right now running the ball for 137 yards a game, if they can run the ball, they'll be fine, and they should be able to run the ball in this game. The passing attack has been, it hasn't been great, but it's been efficient. 263 yards through the air, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Defensively, they've given up 199 yards on the ground, 10 touchdowns, and they've given up 204 through the air, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Third downs have been a little rough for JSU, 38%. Defense giving up 46%. 3 fumbles lost this year. They do have 13 sacks, but they've also given up 9. So opponents have been able to get pressure, but the defense has had their moments. When their defense is solid, they are tough to beat. And when that offense is able to run the ball with guys like Mulligan, Miller has made some big runs for them, Ahmad Miller. Andre Hunt, who is a blazer. He has a touchdown run of 75 yards. Zion McDonald can run the ball. Desmond Moultrie. They have the guys to carry the ball. I think this team, regardless of how the passing numbers look, I think this is a team that needs to run the ball, be a run-first team, and then use the passing game off of that. McDonald has been solid passing the ball. Jason Brown is 168 or 102 for 831 yards, has 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Zion McDonald has 3 touchdowns and 222 yards. Receiving, Rico Powers is the guy right now. Duke Miller leads the team with 16 receptions, but Rico Powers is averaging 23 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns. He's the big play guy right now. Isaiah Spencer, as a young guy, has come on strong early, 13 catches, 120 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, their front four is powered by the middle of their defense. Davis, Devontae Davis is a guy who really, is key on that defense in the middle. The secondary is strong. Linebackers are pretty good. They've had their up and down moments. Isaac Peppers leads the team with 31 tackles. And also he has 4 tackles for loss to lead the team. Phillip Webb, 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks to lead the team. Defensively, Tim Stewart leads the team with 2 interceptions. Hazel has 1 and Washington has 1. Like I said, I think JSU will be fine in this game. I mean, you want to put last week behind you as quick as you can. And a game like this can definitely help put that behind you. I think Bethune-Cookman going to put up a fight early, but I like JSU by a score of 38-10. I think they win this game because they can run the ball, and then the passing game will work off the back of that. Then defensive rebound this week. And that takes us to our game of the week. And this is a big West Division matchup. Prairie View heads to the reservation to take on Alcorn. Both teams are 1-2. Alcorn beat McNeese last week. Prairie View lost to SMU. They also got beat by Abilene Christian. Prairie View is 1-0 in conference right now because they beat Texas Southern to open up the season. So they are sitting at the top of the conference, top of the division right now. So they have a little bit of an edge. Being able to go 2 games up on everybody pretty much in the division would be huge. Having 2 division wins early in the season would be huge for Prairie View. But the Panthers haven't really looked that good defensively, especially. The run game has been what you expect. They ran for over 300 yards against Abilene Christian. Last week they didn't run the ball that well, but the ability is there. Right now this season they're averaging 191 yards per game on the ground. Only 3.8 yards per carry, so they're not really getting that explosive run yet, but the opportunities are there. Defense giving up 152 yards on the ground, 190 yards through the air for the Panthers, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They've been getting gashed through the air as a defense, over 329 yards allowed. They do have 5 interceptions, but they've given up 14 touchdowns. They've given up 8.3 yards per play, 480 yards of offense, 5 yards per play as an offense, 382 yards of offense, 37% third downs for the Panthers offense. The opponents are converting 50% on third downs. They're just not getting off the field. One key element for Prairie View right now is they have not registered a sack yet this season. In 3 games, they have yet to sack the quarterback. They've given up 10 sacks on the season. They have, Alcorn's passing game isn't great right now, but being able to generate some pressure will help you in a game like this because, yes, you're going to have to stop the run, but games like this where teams run the ball, you're going to end up sometimes with those 3rd and longs. You need to get pressure on these quarterbacks. If you want to beat Alcorn, you got to make the quarterback uncomfortable, and you have to find a way to do that. Right now, they have a 3-headed monster in the run game. You have Caleb Johnson, Amar Antoine, and you also have Trezon Connolly to run the ball. Their running game is there. Connolly this season passing the ball has been pretty good. 39 of 71, 516 yards, and 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Jaquan Bloomfield has 4 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown. Keyshawn Johnson leads the team with 19 tackles. McHaney has 1 tackle for loss to lead the team, and like I said, they have no sacks yet. They have, like I said, they have 5 interceptions, so that the defense has been making some plays, but they have to be able to stop this Alcorn offense on the ground. The Braves are averaging 176 yards per game rushing, 4.6 yards per carry. The passing game, like I said, has not been pretty. They have yet to throw a touchdown this year. They do have 2 interceptions, 95 yards per game passing, and that puts them at 271 total offense, 4.8 yards per play. Defensively, the numbers have looked, they have looked up and down, but that defense is still going to be solid. Right now, they're allowing 166 yards on the ground, 220 through the air. They have 6 interceptions already, 4 touchdowns allowed. Opponents 386 total offense, 6 yards per play. Third down, both them and their opponents have been very effective on 4th down. Alcorn at 42%, the opponents at 43%. Alcorn hasn't fumbled the ball yet this season, so they have 2 turnovers as a team. They have 9 sacks, and they've only allowed 3. So even with a team like Prairie who hasn't registered a sack, you're facing an offense that hasn't thrown a lot of passes. They've only attempted 92 passes on the season. So 55, only attempted 55 passes on the season. So they have really not given opponents an opportunity to really get any pressure on them with the passing game. But the running attack obviously is led by Jarvion Howard. Right now he has 168 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tyler Macon can hurt you with his legs. He's averaging 62 yards per game. He's averaging 12.4 yards per carry. Nico Duffy has 118 yards and a touchdown. Javante Leatherwood had a pretty solid game last week against McNeese. He's sitting at 90 yards. So they have 4 guys that can run the ball if Macon's out there. But their passing attack has to get better. They're completing 54% of their passes right now, but they have only thrown 55 passes as a team. And they have guys at like Monterio Hunt, Malik Rogers. Those are guys who can be big weapons for you in the pass game, but you have to try to find a way to get that ball out there to them. Right now, they haven't been able to do that. Terrence Ellis leads the defense with 28 tackles. He has 2 tackles for loss. Those numbers lead the team. Malachi Bailey, again, an all-SWAC guy. He has 1.5 sacks. Ellis, 1.5 sacks. Bailey has 2 tackles for loss as well. Interceptions. Robert McDaniel has 2 to lead the team. Special teams are pretty solid. I like Alcorn in this game. I think this game is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a physical game. Prairie needs this win to keep pace. Alcorn needs this win to kind of keep themselves in the hunt. If Prairie is to win this game, they go up 2 division games over everybody, and they're sitting in a nice spot before they head into the next game. But I like Alcorn playing at home. I think this game again. I think the passing attack will be better this week. Not great, but I think it'll be better. I think that's what's going to be the difference for them in this game. I think they win this game by a score of 22-16, and that wraps up week 4. Quick look at the week 5 schedule. September 30th, Lincoln is at Texas Southern. That's a 2:00 kick. Tuskegee is at Alabama A&M, also a 2:00 kick. Southern is at Pine Bluff. That's a 4 p.m. kick. Alcorn is at Alabama State. That's a 5 p.m. kick. Prairie View and Grambling playing the State Fair Classic, 6 p.m. kick. And FAMU in Itta Bena at 6 p.m. So Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman are off on Saturday, the 30th. This week, Southern's off. They're the only team off. So full slate, pretty much 5 conference games this week, 4 next week. So really, really good action coming at you. So that's going to do it for today's show, man. We'll be back on Thursday with SWAC Smoke, live 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, pregame show coming at you sometime Saturday, and then Sunday, week 4 recap. So all that's coming at you on SWAC Talk, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.